So Prime Video, in a rare moment of good taste, actually came through this month. They quietly dropped some genuinely solid thriller movies, and I don't think enough people are talking about it. Quick thing before we get into it. All other streaming availability details are in the first pinned comment below. Go check that out.
Trailblazer 119, we are dark.
Anyone near guard, damn it!
We're gonna hit. We're gonna hit.
Alright, so the title of this movie is one word. That word is the most generic possible description of the main vehicle in the film. Someone in that pitch meeting said it out loud, everyone nodded, and they moved on. And honestly, that tracks, because this movie is not here to impress you with its subtlety. It is here to entertain you, and it does exactly that. The setup is simple. Routine flight, severe storm, lightning strike forces an emergency landing. Except they don't land at an airport. They land on an island that is very much controlled by people who are not happy to see them. And from that point forward, our pilot, former Royal Air Force, built like a man who has never had a relaxing day in his life, has to figure out how to keep his passengers alive. Now, the buddy dynamic with the fugitive he teams up with has potential the script doesn't fully cash in on. The chemistry is functional rather than electric. And yes, there are boardroom scenes back at airline headquarters that feel like they wandered in from a different, worse movie. But here's the thing. There is a rifle in this film. The movie basically treats it as a character, and I'm not joking when I say it has more of a dramatic arc than most of the humans on screen. The audience at my screening reportedly cheered for the rifle. I understand them completely. 94% audience score on Rotten Tomatoes. That's not nothing. This is a movie you put on when you just want to watch something and feel your heart rate go up. Simple, committed, effective. The movie is plain.
But we all have to pay for our sins eventually.
Now this one I genuinely think is underrated. Not in a quiet, underseen kind of way, people have seen it, but in the sense that it doesn't get mentioned enough when people talk about great action thrillers of the last 5 years, and it should be. Here's what you need to know. You've got one of the coolest, most stylish female assassins in recent action cinema, trained from childhood, lethal, precise, reads actual literature between kills, which is such a specific character detail and I respect it enormously. And then across from her, you've got a man who is in his 70s, somehow keeping pace with her in hand-to-hand combat and bringing this almost playful, inspired menace to every scene he's in. That dynamic carries this entire film. It's a cat-and-mouse relationship where both parties are clearly enjoying themselves way too much, and that energy is infectious. The fight choreography is crisp, the globe-trotting is glamorous, the pacing doesn't let up. Is the plot predictable? Somewhat. Does the ending wrap up a bit fast, like it suddenly remembered it had somewhere to be? Yes. But none of that matters much when the central relationship is this entertaining to watch. This is directed by the same man who directed 2 of the best James Bond films ever made, so the action pedigree is legitimate. If you like assassin thrillers with genuine personality, this is absolutely one to catch.
Good. That's good.
Right, so I want to be upfront about something. I sat down to watch this expecting a competent, well-made spy thriller. Solid premise, Mossad agents, Cold War Berlin, Nazi war criminal, fine, let's go. And then this film, about 40 minutes in, looks me directly in the eye and says, "You think you know how this ends." I did not know how this ended. The structure cuts between 2 timelines. In the present, you've got Helen Mirren and Tom Wilkinson playing celebrated national heroes, agents whose daring mission in the 1960s made them legends. And then you cut back to the past, where younger versions of these same characters are played by Jessica Chastain and Sam Worthington. And slowly, quietly, the film starts pulling back the curtain on what actually happened during that mission. And there is a gap, a significant, uncomfortable gap between the story the world was told and the truth. The Berlin sequences are surgical in their tension. There's a scene set in a doctor's office, a Mossad agent posing as a patient to get close to a Nazi war criminal working as a gynecologist, that is genuinely nerve-shredding. No action, no score swelling, just pure procedural dread and incredibly committed performance work. The third act stumbles, I won't pretend otherwise, but the performances are so grounded and the central mystery lands hard enough that it absolutely earns its place on this list. Espionage with real weight, the kind that stays with you. The movie is The Debt. One actress, one house, one podcast about people who claim they received mysterious black bricks with unexplainable powers. I know exactly how that sounds. Stay with me. This is a 2022 sci-fi thriller, and it works precisely because of what it withholds. There are no set pieces, no ensemble, no action sequences. Just this one journalist, alone in a beautifully cold, blue-tinted home office, slowly convincing herself, and you, that something is very wrong. Her podcast starts attracting listeners, the story starts gaining momentum, and then the line between investigator and believer starts to blur in ways that are genuinely unsettling. The podcasting angle is smart because we've all felt that specific 2 a.m. internet rabbit hole energy. One forum post leads to another, and suddenly you're questioning things you were certain about an hour ago. This film weaponizes that feeling and just lets it simmer for 90 minutes. Lily Sullivan carries the entire film alone, and it never once feels like a stunt. It feels real, paranoid, and compulsive in a way that's uncomfortably relatable. The tone is creepy in the best possible way, not jump scare creepy, dread creepy, the kind that's still sitting in the back of your head on the drive home. If you like your thrillers quiet, cerebral, and genuinely strange, this one is a must. The movie is Monolith. So this is a debut feature from writer-director Corey Finley, and I want you to understand that for a debut film, this thing is immaculate. That's not a word I use lightly. From the first frame, there is a precision to this movie, a controlled, almost surgical quality that makes it feel less like a film and more like a trap being constructed in real time, and you're not sure if you're the audience or the prey. Two girls, former childhood friends from an affluent suburb. One of them radiates preppy perfection, top grades, polished surface, warm smile, and underneath it, something quietly monstrous. The other one is openly, almost philosophically detached from human emotion, blunt, direct, unfiltered, and somehow she ends up being the more honest of the two. Their dynamic is like a psychological boxing match where neither of them ever breaks a sweat, and both of them are always calculating. The target of their planning is Lily's stepfather, a man who is openly contemptuous and genuinely unpleasant. The plan starts as a dark joke between two bored, dangerous young women. It stops being funny gradually, and then all at once. Eric Friedlander's score is percussive and relentless. Slow bass drum feels like a countdown. The cinematography uses Steadicam to make this opulent house feel like a maze you can't escape. And Anton Yelchin, in one of his final performances, brings the only real warmth in the entire film, and you feel his absence every time he's off screen. Dark, witty, Hitchcockian, and completely unafraid to be cold. The movie is Thoroughbreds.
Those your grades?
Yeah. I don't think that I deserved an F. Do you?
A teenager with a home computer accidentally nearly starts World War III, and this is still one of the most gripping thrillers I can recommend to you in 2026. I mean it completely. This film has no business holding up this well. The computers have chunky keyboards and green text monitors. Our protagonist is a high schooler who hacks into a nuclear defense supercomputer because he genuinely thought it was a video game company. And the moment that machine accepts his request to play a game called Global Thermonuclear Warfare, I defy you to not be completely locked in from that point forward. Now, what separates WARGAMES from just being a clever period piece is that it never loses sight of what it's actually about. It's not really a movie about technology, it's about arrogance. It's about the systems we build, hand control over to, and then trust blindly. The ending delivers an insight so simple and so devastating that you'll want to rewind it immediately, and the film earns that ending completely. Matthew Broderick is effortlessly charming. The pacing is perfect, not a wasted scene in the whole runtime. John Badham directs with an efficiency that modern blockbusters could genuinely learn something from. I've described this to people as a thriller, a sci-fi film, a time capsule, and a warning, all in 114 minutes, and honestly, all four of those descriptions are accurate. If you haven't seen it, you genuinely owe it to yourself. If you have seen it, go back, it holds. The movie is WARGAMES. Now, if you want to keep this going, I just dropped a video recommending 12 sci-fi movies you can watch right now on HBO Max. Some you've heard of, some I genuinely believe you haven't, and I'm honest with you about every single one of them. That one's right there. Go watch it next. Subscribe if you haven't, like the video if it helped, and I'll see you at the next one.